and welcome to the Pick and Roll podcast.
Yeah.
Yes. Today, we got a good one for you guys. This is going to be basically a podcast where we're going to be breaking down draft prospects. This is what we're going to be doing all year. This is going to be a year-long scouting, mock drafts, breaking down players, reaction to drafts, big boards. This is going to be a year-round scouting podcast, NBA scouting podcast. So this is the first episode. And so basically what we're doing is we're going to break down the top 10 guys in the ESPN top 100 rankings that are heading into college or the NBA G League. There's a few these guys go in there.
Yeah.
We're going to break them down for you guys. Give us a quick breakdown of these guys, what we think, what we like, what we dislike, things of that nature. It's going to be really fun. And that's what we're going to be giving you with this new podcast. Yeah, Chris, do you have anything you want to say?
Yeah, nothing really. I'm just excited.
Okay.
I'm excited to finally,
Okay. Sounds good. Yeah. All right. So the first player, the number one player in the nation, is Isaiah Collier. He's a 6'4" point guard. He's going to go play at USC with Bronny James. Him and Bronny are going to play together. And, my scouting report on Isaiah Collier is, first things first, he looks extremely strong. He's a very strong body, especially the lower half of his body, very strong legs. That strength and plus, decent athletic gifts. It's not like he's overly gifted athletically, but he's gifted enough to get to the rim. But his best gift is playing through contact at the rim. I mean, his ability to finish at the rim due to his 6'4", him being 6'4" and being so strong is his greatest strength. He's great at contact balance, playing through contact, great at finishing at the rim. He moves people. I mean, it's really impressive how strong he is.
Yeah.
He can shot create. He definitely shows flashes of that from every level. His elite finisher. He's a really good passer. I think his best ability passing wise is the right hand fastball pass. Like, he has a really good one-handed pass where he can just put it on a line and just like get it to the corner really quickly. It's kind of reminiscent of Russ. Russ has a really great one-hand pass. You can, with not a lot of defensive highlights, there is flashes of him shooting really deep at the 3-point range. So that shows a lot of upside, because if he can put that finishing at the rim together with that really deep 3-point shot creation for himself, this guy could be really elite. Personally, strength and skill wise and athleticism wise, he reminds me a ton of Drew Holiday offensively, with more of like 3-point flair, but similar physical build, similar strength, similar athletic gifts. Drew Holiday was like a top 5 prospect when he was coming out of college as well. Like, he was the man coming out of high school. So, Drew Holiday was that kind of guy too. So my grade on him so far is a 2 to 5 pick in the draft. That's my grade on him. He's not like a number one pick, but he could definitely be a guy that could give you 20 and 8. The guys like Tyrese Halliburton, a guys like Darius Garland. I could see him being in that tier, the Fred VanVleets of the world. So that's my take, Isaiah Collier. Chris, what do you think about Isaiah Collier?
Man. So I will have to disagree here. With a few things. So I would say that Isaiah Collier, I have him as a 6'4" point guard from Wheeler High School with a crazy passing ability. I think that's something that you touched on. But I think that's going to be his bread and butter more than his scoring, because I feel like even at 6'4" as a point guard, I feel like a lot of his, he has a great jumping ability, but I feel like the other guards, the small forward shooting guards, are going to be a little bit more athletic than he is. And he's not going to really be able to get around him. And I didn't see a lot of shot creation except for downhill, which is awesome, though. Awesome. His downhill ability is awesome. I mean, he has great body control, and he's able to kind of, adjust to mid-air and defenses and stuff like that. Kind of, because he's 205 pounds. So, guys kind of bounce off of him a little bit because he's so strong.
Yes.
So, he's able to get around people, and his jumping ability is great. But I just don't see it as, I don't see him being, a high draft pick, really, unless he develops more into that shot creation. I need to see more 3-point shot creation from him, more mid-range shot creation. I see a lot of downhill, kind of a lot of reminiscent of Russ, where he just kind of outruns the defense and kind of gets a good a good layup. He has a great layup package. A good layup. Or
Yes.
I'm not really seeing a lot of shot creation really.
Mm-hmm.
And if I did, it would be more Russ like mid range because he's kind of strong and fast and
Yeah.
athletic to an extent. Um, but I just think that his attacking downhill will be his greatest strength, along with his passing ability, because it's crazy the way
Yeah.
he threads the needle. He does it like
He
no
really
other guard,
does.
really, which is crazy.
Yeah.
He makes impressive lead passes and has the ability to make the proper read as the play unfolds. So as the play unfolds, it's like he's already seeing it happen. So it's just like
Yeah.
that's great to know that you have a point guard. It's kind of like a computer that he's already like thinking 2 steps ahead
Yeah.
than of the defense. Um, it looks like he's getting up without trying because, like I said, with that jumping ability. And I would say his best NBA comparison would be Eric Bledsoe. I would say similar build and
Interesting.
play style, and he will really live on his passing
Yeah.
ability. I feel like
Okay.
scoring ability won't really. I mean, he could always develop that in college, but as of right now, I feel like he's going to
Yeah.
live and die with his passing ability. He's going to be a great facilitator on the next level.
Yeah, I mean, Bledsoe was definitely a very strong guy, and like the weakness was the 3-point shooting, right? He
Yeah,
would used to get exposed a lot for the lack of 3-point shooting, but could really get downhill. So I feel like
yeah,
that's a pretty solid comp. Yeah, it depends on how well that 3-point shot is going to translate to the next level. If
yeah,
he's
and that's what
knocking
I'm
it down
worried
at the
about.
next level, then it's going to be different. But yeah, it's definitely something interesting. So you ready to kick it to the next guy?
One more thing. Also, it was something that
Yeah.
I had really kind of like gotten into. Like when I was watching him at first with his highlights,
Yeah.
I was looking at like how he got trapped a lot, but it took him a while. Like I see that
Mhm.
he does have really good like instincts with the basketball, but it
Yeah.
took him a while to get out of the trap, and that's something
Yeah.
that he could depend on. I mean, that he could like increase on. So I feel like his passing isn't otherworldly yet, but it has the
Mm-hmm.
potential to be. I feel like
Yeah,
once he can
definitely.
read that a little bit better, those traps a little bit better, I feel like he'll be pretty much unstoppable with the ball in his hands because the way
Yeah.
he'll just increase production from his teammates with the way he passes will just be phenomenal.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel you. Yeah. All right, you ready to kick it to the next guy?
Yeah, let's go.
All right, number 2 on the ESPN Top 100 is Ron Holland, 6'9" forward. He's gonna go play in the G League. He is so gifted athletically. The dude is that guy can fly in the air. No jokes about it. And it's not just vertical speed. He's like very fast and
Mm-hmm.
quick, and athletically, he reminds me a ton of Josh Smith. He was Atlanta Hawks. Josh Smith was playing with Joe Johnson. Those two together, and he would go downhill, and he'd put tons of pressure at the rim, and he'd always be on ESPN top 10 plays because he'd be dunking on somebody crazy. You know what I mean? That's where he reminds me of him. I mean, nobody can stay in front of him. I definitely feel like, the most advanced thing that he has is that first step. His
Mm.
fundamental of that first dribble and first step, he's always super low and in the perfect foot placement, and he's always right there, and he's just so freaking fast that because of he is so advanced and skilled at that first step, you pair that skill with the very fundamentally sound first step with a freak athlete, nobody can stay in front of him.
Yeah.
He has good ball handle control. He's not like super, I'm going to shake you up. He will cross some people up, and he does have a pretty nice handle, but it's not like super duper amazing yet. But
Mm.
definitely leads to a lot to one to be hoped for in the future. There's no defensive highlights that I could find, but I'm guessing a 6'9" freak like that can probably be a pretty solid defender.
Yeah.
No passing highlights either. His 3-point shot creation for himself was pretty interesting. That 3-point shot is going to either make or break him in the next level. Me personally, I do think the floor is Josh Smith, but if that 3-point shot, if he can shot create, he's gonna be 6'9", and honestly, if he can shot create, that's T-Mac level stuff. So if he can shot create, he'll definitely be the number 1 pick, in my opinion, because then
Mm.
we start walking towards T-Mac.
Okay.
But until I see more of that, he's going to be the 2 to 5th pick because the intrigue is going to be too much. But this guy could definitely, with a good year in the G League, he can walk his way to the number 1 pick.
Yeah.
All right,
Um.
Chris.
So Ron Holland for me, 6'8", power forward, right from
Okay.
Nuckyville High School. Great
Mm-hmm.
athlete from what I've seen, and he really thrives in an offense where there's a lot of up and down, where he can show off his crazy athleticism by dunking,
Yeah.
running the floor, and shot blocking on the other end. He has a consistent lob threat, so like they always throw lobs at him because he just jumps out the gym because he's crazy athletic. He's a high energy guy on both ends, one of the better defenders that I've seen, because I've seen like a lot of his shot blocking highlights. I did find a couple of those. He's like one of the better defenders that I've seen so far. And he's long, you know what I mean? He's tall and long, so he's gonna be. I'm sorry. He's gonna be a great defender. And I think that I would like to see more of his shooting ability. I did see a little bit, kind of like maybe a couple mid range. There's like maybe some standstill. But I want to see. I agree with the shot creation ability. I would like to see more of that. I would like to see him develop that. He doesn't quite have that yet. I think it's more standstill at this point. But still, that's actually good going into the college because you can be taught, how to create a little bit better. And I think that with a shooting coach, he could become the most solid 3-and-D wing defender. I think that's a ceiling.
Okay.
And so I believe best NBA comparison, Tari Eason.
Tari Eason, is that what you said?
Tari Eason. Yeah. Tari Eason.
That's not a terrible one. Yeah, Tari Eason is super long.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, you ready to kick at the next guy?
Let's go.
Number 3 on the list is Justin Edwards, 6'7", a part of the ridiculous recruiting class Kentucky has. He's a lefty. He's an odd mover. He's extremely smooth. He can get to the rim. I think he's above average athlete. He has a really great mid-range pull-up. Definitely seems like he has a really good feel in the mid-range. It definitely feels like that's the way that he really, scores consistently. I don't view him as like a world-class rim attacker, but pretty decent. This guy doesn't really show you a ton of tape of him shot creating from the 3-point line. Wish I would have seen more of it. But personally, I think he's like a slightly worse RJ Barrett. So I have him 6 to 10 on the draft board. So what do you think about Justin Edwards, Chris?
Left-handed athletic wing, high-level and fluid athlete with great body control, able to adjust in mid-air to defense in order to score. Looks very comfortable shooting the 3-point shot. Off the catch, I would say off the catch because I haven't seen too much shot creation, but off the catch, he looks very comfortable shooting it. It's always shooting the shooter's pocket. He knows how to catch it. He catches it very well. And then, maybe he does like a escape dribble like a Kevin Love a little bit, and he's able to do that and still get a shot off. He runs the floor well, so he doesn't need the ball in his hands to be effective. Also handles well enough to get to the rim. I did see that. He did handle well enough to get to the rim, but I think that his best NBA comparison would be Kevin Knox.
Okay, sounds good. All right, so we're ready to kick to the next guy.
Yeah.
All right, so we got DJ Wagner here, 6'2". He's going to Kentucky with Justin Edwards. He's, in my opinion, a below-average vertical athlete. I think he's got average speed and below-average quickness. I don't think he has elite shot creation from any level. 6'2". I think due to him being 6'2", and in the NBA, if you're 6'2", you better have some elite athletic gifts to start in the NBA if you're a 6'2" point guard. People, because everybody's so tall in the NBA, people don't realize how tall the point guards are too, right? Steph Curry's 6'3", but he looks like a, Rice Krispie out there. You know what I mean? Most of these guys are pretty tall. So 6'2" is a big question mark. And when he's not athletically gifted like that throws up more question marks for me. He does have some ability to shot create. I just don't really see the NBA translation. I do see college. I definitely could see him being a good college guard because then he'll be still like an average height college-wise, but he'll be below average height, below athletic gifts. It's just hard to get your game off. So I think he'll be a solid backup point guard in the NBA, and I have him great as a late first. So that's my DJ Wagner comp. Breakdown. What's yours, Chris?
DJ Wagner. This is one of my favorite guys. Right. I think he has a strong frame and handles contact well. Very reliable floater and mid-range scoring ability. Knows how to get to his spots. Can stop on a dime and pull up for his jump shot. Shoots off the catch or dribble, including step back, and scores well in isolation. Good ball handler and effective off the dribble. Doesn't need the triple threat to beat the defender. Breaks down the defense and gets to the rim off the dribble. Changes speed and direction well with the ball and isn't fazed by defensive pressure and generally doesn't over dribble. Plays off 2 feet and scores at various angles at the rim. Stays under control and doesn't get rushed. Playing at his own pace. I think you might have mentioned that too. He's kind of like slowish. Doesn't have like he plays at his
Yeah.
own pace. So I've seen a lot of that. He has good
Okay.
IQ and overall understanding of the game. Knows how to pass
Hmm.
up a decent look for a better one. And can process and break down the game, making proper reads. I've seen that with some of
Okay.
his passing. So he passes well with either hand. Um,
Yeah. Okay.
and I would say that he's a confident, good competitor. He looks like he's confident with the shot. He has some aggression. I did see that a little bit, and I would say that his best NBA comparison would be Tyrese Maxey.
Okay. Interesting. All right. Sounds good.
Yeah,
You ready to kick it to the next guy?
yeah.
All right, next one man up is Matas Buzelis in the ESPN Top 100 rankings. He's going to the G League. He's 6'9". He definitely has a really smooth 3-point shot. It
Mm-hmm.
looks really nice. He can definitely handle really well for his size. Finish at the rim decently well. I think he's an above average NBA athlete. I wouldn't go any further than that. He's definitely a very good passer for his position. You've seen some flashes of him handling it out of the pick and roll. Uh, Me personally, he reminds me so much of Franz Wagner. That 6'9" power forward, and these Franz Wagner types are very valuable because you're running a pick and roll. Unlike other guys, you run a pick and roll with this guy, and he's the screener. Boom, he pops out to the 3-point line. Okay, you kick it to him. It's not just like, oh, either I shoot or I pass. To the next person. And it's
Mm-hmm.
not like that because when Franz pops out, and then it's okay. I have the ball in my hands. I can create now. And there's a guy that's running to the rim that used to have the ball in his hands. Maybe he's open, but nobody else on the floor other than me can make that pass. That's not the point guard, right? So there's just so many different ways to use this 6'9" power forward that are just so valuable. I mean, off ball screens, screeners, being, coming off, as a screener and popping and things of all that nature. They're just so ridiculously useful that you don't have to scheme too much to get them buckets. Because
Mm-hmm.
it's just within the flow of an NBA offense, there's just so many opportunities for a guy like this to have a positive effect on the floor. So, that's why I'm like, Franz Wagner reminds me so much of it. So I feel like he's a clone of Franz. So
Mm-hmm.
I think Metellus Zealous is a 6 to 10 pick in the draft so far. What do you think, Chris?
I completely agree. I actually had the same NBA
Okay.
comparison as Franz Wagner.
Okay. Okay.
um, So yeah, he has a natural feel for the game. I think he has a
Yeah.
versatile skill set. He demonstrates ball skills in the half court and leads well in transition.
Mhm.
Sees the floor well, makes impressive one-handed passes with either hand off the dribble.
Yeah.
He can play on or off the ball, knows when to space the floor and when to cut and rotate. I did see that a lot because he's a consistent
Yeah.
lob threat. I did see him catch a lot
Sure.
of lobs.
Definitely.
Um, and at first look, he kind of looks like Chet. I'm like, who's this skinny guy? All these
Yeah.
guys are really
Uh
skinny.
huh.
And he just kind of reminds me of Chet a
Yeah.
little bit. But he
Yeah.
has a good touch on the floater and accurate with each hand at the
Hmm.
rim. He's patient offensively, doesn't blindly attack the rim, forces
Definitely.
impact.
Yeah.
And he's a proven 3-point shotter. I mean, 3-point shot. I did
Yeah.
look at some of his stats there, and yeah, possesses desirable size and skills for a modern day perimeter
Yeah.
player. So Franz Wagner.
Yeah. 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 I completely agree.
Yeah.
All right. You ready to kick it to the next guy?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so the crazy deep Kentucky Kent class continues with Aaron Bradshaw, sixth guy on the ESPN Top 100. He's 7'1". He's reported to be 7'2", so let's just call him 7'2".
Yeah.
He's going to Kentucky just like a lot of other guys. This guy is very athletically gifted. He's also not just like a vertical athlete. He's very quick and smooth and, fast. Like he's not just, vertical but has a foot stuck in the mud. Like he can move pretty well. He shows some flashes of spacing and shot creation for himself in the mid range and things of that nature. He could defend the rim very well. Definitely looks like he has very natural instincts for it. Obviously, with his 7'2" length and his athletic gifts, he can defend the rim really well. That's what his most valuable trait is going to be at the next level. I definitely feel like a lot of he definitely could be a nice 3-point shooting, rim defending center, and that's what the NBA would want him to be. I think the post skill, I'm not a fan of. You know what I mean? I definitely am a big hater on high school post players, especially when I watch them and you see spaces like this guy should have spun this way. It's so obvious, but he just scores through height and length, right? There's a difference between post skill that's going to be advanced enough to be posting in the NBA and post skill that's good enough to dominate your high school basketball team when you're 7'2".
Yeah.
That's what he is. But his mid-range shot creation for himself is more intriguing. But honestly, not many people are shot creating from the mid-range at the center position. It's not really something that's promoted because most of these guys can't score better in the mid-range than the DeMar DeRozan, than your normal small forward. So, like, for him to do that at the next level, he needs to be more elite than the small forwards, the two guards in situations like that, or he's not going to get the ball because he's not going to be a better option, right? So, realistically, his ceiling in the NBA, unless he becomes like this utterly insane mid-range shot creator, is going to be Miles Turner. With the 3-point shooting and the hope that he could develop that, because that has a lot of value. Defend the rim, 3-point shoot. You definitely lead a lot of good things as a team. 7-2. So yeah, my pick range for him is 6 to 10, and that's what I think about Aaron Bradshaw. What do you think about Aaron Bradshaw, Chris?
I think he has good size and length. He's athletic with good mobility and fluidity. Consistently runs the floor well, finishes dunks above the rim that they can't. Looks like other people can't even touch. He has the mid-range elbow jumper down a little bit. I will say that I do see the post game. I mean, if he can develop it to some extent, so it's better than a shooting guard, small forward, then maybe. I did see a little bit of that, kind of like the post fadeaway, like the Kobe fadeaway, Jordan fadeaway, LeBron fadeaway. I can see that he does look kind of comfortable shooting the 3-point, shooting from the 3-point line. Let's see here. I think that he's a great shot blocker. I think he's instinctive. I've seen a lot of shot in his highlights. I've seen a lot of shot blocking highlights. And I think that the best NBA comparison will be Nick Claxton with a shot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. You already kick it to the next guy.
Let's go.
All right. Number 7 on the list is a new Colorado. He's going to go to Colorado. 6'8", Cody Williams. Fun fact, Jalen Williams' younger brother. Yes, the Jalen Williams that's playing for the Oklahoma City Thunder. 6'8". He's really smooth. Definitely, he definitely seems like he has good form on his jump shot. He shows some flashes of playmaking. I was honestly expecting more because of Jalen Williams. Again, people who, I scouted Jalen Williams and I said that he was by far the best 2-guard passer coming out of the draft. So I was kind of expecting more playmaking in high school, and I was kind of sad that I didn't see more of it. Hopefully he does at the next level. He can get to the rim pretty well, but his highlight tip leaves a wanting of seeing more shot creation for himself in like the mid-range or at the 3-point line. He seems very reliant at getting to the rim, and for a 6'8" guy, you think, okay, that's gonna be nice, but he's not so overly gifted that he's gonna be able to drop 18 a game off of just getting to that rim because he's so freaky athletic, and he's not Ron Holland, right? He's not that kind of athlete to get to the rim like that the next level. So I think right now with the skill set that I've seen, I say 14 to 20 because, hey, 3D 6'8" wings are role players, and you draft them and you have them for 8 years, and they have a positive effect on your team for a while. So that's why I have him 14 to 20. He's a very high tier role player right now. Hopefully he shows improvement, but that's my grade on him right now for Cody Williams. So what do you think about Cody Williams, Chris?
This is one of those guys where I absolutely agree with you because this is, I think I was talking to you about it before, it was that I just didn't find anything that really just jumped out to me. It was like, wow, this guy's going to be great. I really could see him being a role player in the league.
Yeah.
Because he has that spot up shot a little bit, you know what I mean? And he's tall and long, and he really depends on getting to the rim to score.
Yes.
I didn't see any pull up jumpers that much. I didn't see anything that really was he has a skill set, he has a bag that he can go to if something's not working. If you stop him at the rim, then he's pretty much not going to score the rest of the game That's pretty much how it looks. So I wasn't truly impressed with him. Hopefully, he can develop something more when he goes to college. With the high level facilities, the shooting coaches, and things like that.
Yeah.
Maybe he can
Mm-hmm.
become more. I mean, get a pull up jumper or something like that, or maybe more
Mm-hmm.
post moves. But as of
Yeah.
right now, it's not really. I can see role player. I can see him possibly being a good 3-and-D with a good shooting coach.
Yep.
He's not going to be elite like Ron Holland because he doesn't have the athletic gifts, but
Yeah.
he'll be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, you ready to kick it to the next guy?
Let's go.
Okay. The next one up is Jacoby Walter. He's 6'5". Let me get what college he's going to. He's going to Baylor University. 6'5", shooting guard. He has a really pretty jump shot. He can shot great anywhere. It's 3-point line, mid range, at the rim. There's no weaknesses there. His bag is so deep that he can just read the defense and find open spaces to shoot from and shot great for it, and it looks great. Like, there's so many times where I saw him. Okay, the only open spot here to attack this defense's ways, that mid-range spot. Okay, well, I get to that spot, and now I'm gonna do a fade away while my body's moving away from the basket, and everything's moving in crazy ways. Trust me, that shot's way harder than you think, right?
Yeah.
And then I saw a shot create for the 3-point line, and the only open spot was to the right, right, because their defense was leaning to the left. The defender, that was the only spot, and he hits behind the back, step to the right 3-point shot. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
Okay, because this guy is so smart.
Mm-hmm.
So intelligent on attacking angles, what's open, and he just has such a his bag looks deep where he has the moves to attack every angle on defense and the way you're gonna guard beat. You want to push him left, he'll score. You want to push him right, he'll score. You want to play close to him, he'll get to the rim. You want to play, off, he'll shoot. Right? Like, there's just no answer to how smart he is. He's not like an overly gifted athlete, but he's just coming out of the high school. He is world class scoring intelligence.
Yeah.
Honestly, if that is the same guy that he's going to be in college, he'll be the greatest, the smartest scoring shooting guard I've seen coming out since I've been doing this. I can't really find a lot of highlight tapes of him defensively, but his jab steps, oh my goodness, his jab steps are phenomenal. There's some people that just jab step because it's their move, and there's some people that have the jab step so well down that they look like they're going to the rim. Like, it's definitely so. Like, he just seems like a worker. Like, all those really extremely polished moves just gives me high work ethic. And there's two different prototypes for the two guard position. Mm-hmm. There is the DeMar DeRozans of the world, the Michael Jordans of the world, the Jalen Greens, the Benedict Mathurin's. These, oh my goodness, these guys have some skill and they're freaky athletic, right? Michael Jordan, mid-range skill, freak athlete. Jalen Green, 3-point shot creation, freak athlete. Zach LaVine, 3-point shot creation, freak athlete. DeMar DeRozan, mid-range shot creation, freak athlete. And then there's a line in the sand, and then there's guys to the right that are just so smart and athletic enough that they can do it too. Devin Booker, so smart, not overly athletic, tall enough, right? They meet certain height requirements. Bradley Beal, really smart, not overly athletically gifted, but really intelligent on how to score the basketball. This is that kind of guy. I couldn't watch him without thinking Devin Booker. I just kept on thinking Devin Booker. It was just, I'm amazed. I was really impressed. And, he fits that prototype. He's 6'5". If he is legitimately 6'5" and he can do this at the next level, then he's gonna be 1, 2, or 3 in the draft, because it's just, whoa. he's got it here mentally.
Yeah.
So that's my take on Jacoby Walter. I'll be so excited to watch him play. What do you think about him, Chris?
I am agreeing with you, so much on this, because I watched Jacoby Walter and I'm just like, wow. It looks like every shot he tries to take is a tough shot. And that's great going into the league and going into college, because there's going to be such a high level of defense that every shot will be contested at a high level, because there's so many great defenders. So like already starting that now in high school, and hopefully that translates to college and it does well. And then once he gets drafted, goes to the league, it'll translate there as well. Like that's a high upside to have going in.
Yes.
Now I wouldn't say I saw a lot of passing and things like that, but I believe that he is a pure scorer and one of the best shooters right now in this class outside of DJ Wagner. Even because DJ Wagner is probably one of the best shooters. I feel like he's like if there's a 1A, 1B, I think it will be DJ Wagner, then Jacoby Walters as far as shooting ability.
Yeah.
Just downright shooting ability. 3-point shot creation is otherworldly for Jacoby Walters. I think he's a 3-level scorer as well, but the way he creates from the 3-point line is magic, and it's something special, and it's truly a sight to behold. This is one of those guys that I really, really enjoy watching because I was just like, when I saw it, I was like, wow. Wow.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
he's so advanced.
He's so like, I think that the best word you used was like, he's a smart scorer and one of the smartest scorers, and I can definitely see that. The way he contorts his body and able to get around defenders and still get a shot off. Like I said, every shot he takes in high school has been a contested tough shot, and it falls like it's nothing. You know who that reminds me of? Booker a little bit. That reminds me of Booker a little bit because he's one of those guys who every shot he takes is a tough shot.
Yes.
You know what I mean? He doesn't like those type of guards like that who are just smart and who just know how to get their shot off and can knock it down consistently will be great in the NBA, and I think he's one of those. So I think my best NBA comparison will be Booker.
Okay, yeah, we're going the same comp.
Yeah.
Because Booker's the prototype for this kind of guy.
Yeah.
Where it's just like Booker's not a gifted athlete, but if you're tall enough to shot create and you have the skill, you could do it at a high level in the NBA.
For sure.
Yeah, I'm so excited to watch him play.
Yeah.
Baylor. All right, you ready to get to the next guy?
Let's go.
All right, so next man up, let's see. Mackenzie Mgbako. I probably fumbled that name so
I think it's
Mbako. Go ahead, say it again.
I think it's Mbako.
Mbako. Okay,
I think
we'll go with that because it sounds better.
Yeah.
Okay. He's committed to Indiana, so he's gonna be playing in the Big Ten. 6'8". Personally, I think he's physically built a lot like Jarvis Walker, which is a compliment. Very strong guy, bulky. Definitely seems like a good standstill 3-point shooter. How good he defends at the next level is going to determine how high his draft stock can move up and down. I definitely dislike all of the post scoring that he does because is there a 6'8" power forward that posts in the NBA? No, there is not. Okay, I mean the only exception to the rule is Zion Williamson, but he's not fucking Zion, okay?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just, you're not doing that. He'll do it in college. He'll have a very good college career.
Yeah.
He reminds me a lot of Keegan Murray in that aspect where Keegan Murray was averaging like 20 a game at Iowa posting. And I was like, I definitely do not like this guy as much as everybody else does. I see him as a 3D player. But did you see him post in Sacramento? Oh, you didn't? Okay, cool. I'm glad we got that out of the way. You know what I mean? I definitely feel like this is a very ideal 3D wing that, if his size and athletic gifts convert to great defensive ability, that I could definitely see sneaking his way to the end of the lottery. Because of just how important 3D players are, role players. Again, NBA teams love drafting role players. They are more valuable in the draft than people would realize. So I have him graded 14 to 20, and he reminds me a lot of Keegan Murray.
Alrighty. Mackenzie Mbako, for me, I think that he's a good athlete, very well coordinated, throws down dunks. I've seen him do it with the right hand and the left hand.
Yeah.
He's able to contort his body a little bit in the congested paint, so he can kind of get his shot off.
Yeah.
He can be a matchup problem, I think, for smaller wings. Because he is tall. He's pretty tall. He's like 6'8" with like a 6'10" wingspan, so he can be kind of a matchup problem for those.
Big dude.
I guess in college, he's a good rebounder. I did see him get some rebounds there. And I think he has good tools and versatility as a defender. I think that he was able to play the passing lanes really well, kind of get some shots blocked and stuff like that. And he's capable of making some pretty good passes, pretty decent passing ability there. And I don't really have like a lot on him per se. I would like to see it's a lot I would like to see more of, especially at 6'8" as a forward. I want to see more 3-point shot, ability, maybe a little bit more shot creation, something to make him a little bit more desirable. I mean, because I can see where you're going with the 3 and D wing. That's probably where he's going to end up going because he's not going to be able to post up in the league because he's only 6'8". He's not tall enough to do so.
Yeah.
So I think that the best NBA comparison for him would be Wilson Chandler.
Interesting. Okay. All right, you ready to get the last guy on this list?
Yes.
All right, Jared McCain, 6'3", Duke University. Go Duke. Duke fan. All right, gotta get that out of the way.
Yeah.
Undersized 2 guard, 6'3", short for a 2 guard. 6'4" is kind of the cutoff where it's like, okay, we got to start answering some questions here. I personally think though that this is, I'm so sorry, but this guy's slow in my opinion, unathletic vertically to start in the NBA. I don't think he has the athletic gifts to start in the NBA. He's a strong guy. Like, he has some muscle on him, but it's not like he's Desmond Bane strong, right?
Yeah.
Like, he's not like, okay, in a few years he's gonna look like a NFL linebacker. No, okay, well, let's move it along here. I think he's an above average passer. I'm surprised that there's not more point guard talk about him, because if he was a point guard, then this draft stock would change. He has a really good shooting form. He's a pure shooter. I think in college he'll have a very good career, but in the NBA, I don't think he'll be anything more than a bench shooter because he doesn't meet the athletic requirements. My grade is a mid-second round draft pick, and I don't have a comp for him because think of a guy that just shoots off the bench, just 6'3", and you'll think of a bazillion guys that you completely forgot about 5 years ago.
So, now, yeah.
Okay, that's my take.
This is where I disagree, Jason.
Okay, really? Okay, cool. Let's hear it.
Because I'm sorry, and we may go back and forth about this, but
really?
when I turned on his highlights and he made his first pass, and I was like, wow. And then he did it again. The only thing I could think of was Cade Cunningham. I am sorry. I am sorry. That's all I could think of was Cade Cunningham. Maybe
Cade's 6'8".
I get it. He's an undersized Cade, but hear me out now. His passing ability is like there. Like the way he makes passes and threads the needle and is able to get people. He makes people around him better with his passing. I've seen it. It's like crazy, and it's like, I mean, of course you can't really get it from the highlights reel but you know what I mean, like watching games and things like that, from the NBA, looking at how somebody else passing and they can you got the best shot, but like the way he passes, you know how Cade was like supposed to be like this otherworldly passer.
Yeah,
it was like that was like his biggest calling card. Jared McCain is just like that. His biggest calling card, even though he's undersized, is passing. He's a great passer, phenomenal passer. He does have one of the purest shots I've seen, but he is a passer, and a passer. He will be a great facilitator. I'm sorry. If he can't do anything else, even if he's undersized and he only goes up to college, he'll be the best passer in the college.
Okay.
Passing.
Okay. So, what would your comp be?
I would say undersized Cade.
What?
Undersized Cade. Undersized Cade.
Oh my goodness. Well, we definitely disagree on this.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like when I watched it, I was just like, oh my god. Like, I mean, it may not have jumped out at you, but like to me, I was like, oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah,
I mean, hey. As a Duke fan, I hope you're right.
Yeah, I was like, oh, like he's gonna watch it. Just watch this. Run this back when we watch the Duke games, and you're gonna see how good of a passer he is.
Okay.
I will give you though that he is very slow. He is very slow.
Yes.
He is very slow. That's gonna be a problem. But with the ball in his hand and him passing, he'll be fine. And I think that he should be a point guard. I agree with that part. Because of his passing ability. And I'm surprised that he's listed otherwise because he's not that great of a scorer, but his passing ability is pretty great.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, 6'3", that unathletic, point guard would be the best fit for him. I think. I would agree with you. It's going to be interesting, though. He's going to have to prove that he can pass and be a good high volume ball handler like Chris.
I think he's going to be a great passer. He's a great passer now.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I have him listed as above average, so I agree to a certain extent, but I don't think point guard level.
He's a great passer. I think he's a great passer.
It's okay.
Hey,
we'll see it, Duke. We'll
see. We'll see.
Oh my goodness.
I do want to add something before we close out, though. I would say that out of the 10 that I have watched, which is just a 1 through 10, you know, I mean, I know that we're going to do this pretty much every week. We're going to get another 10 next week, another 10, another 10, another 10. But I think that so far with just this list, I feel like the theme of this coming in class will be the 2 to 3 level score. Every player has the ability to score from either 2 or 3 levels. I feel like Isaiah Collier, from what I've seen, he was more of a mid-range, downhill kind of guy. I didn't really see too much three-point shot creation, but there are a few guys who really live and die with a three-point shot, but they can also go inside, knock down a mid-range. I've seen one guy, I can't remember, I don't know which one it is. I should have wrote it down. But one guy had moves like Kevin Durant. I kid you not, when I saw this back in this cross, this left to right cross, I was like, that is a KD move. And I looked at it and I was like, that is definitely a Kevin Durant move. I think it might have been Justin Edwards. I'm not completely sure. Because he's definitely shorter than KD for sure. And I was like, this is an undersized KD. But like the 2 to 3 level score is going to be the biggest theme of this draft, in my opinion. I don't know. What do you think?
I think the theme of the draft so far, 1 through 10, I would say length. I mean, all of these guys are really tall, other than DJ Wagner. I would definitely say like tall for their position, especially when you're talking about Ron Holland, who's 6'9". Then there's Matalis Buzelis, 6'9". Aaron Bradshaw, 6'7", Justin Edwards, 6'7". Right, I would definitely say length so far. You know what I mean, and ideally 3-point shooting, but you know it's hard to know without the 3-point line at the college level how well they're going to translate. Because I mean, honestly, like if you can't shoot a 3 in the NBA, man, you better be a freak athlete or better be a freak defender, because you're not going to stay on the floor, even as a bench player. So, you know, there's so many players that it's tough to scout these guys in high school because we can't really know for certain how good their 3-point shooting or defense is. And there's people getting paid $70 million right now over a 4-year deal for 3-point shooting and defense. So, you know, it's pretty big part of it. And high college tape and G League tape is gonna dominate all.
Yeah, very true. Yeah. I think Ron Holland and Mattis Buzelis, they actually do have G League tape already. That's what I watched from both of them. I watched their G League tape. Okay. Yeah, they have because they play on the same team. They both playing on the G League night. So like you can see them. Like I think Ron Holland had like 23. I think Buzelis had like 19 or something like that.
Yeah. Ron Holland can shot create. Wow.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a fun time to watch.
Yeah.
All right. Have anything else, Chris?
Nope.
All right, sounds good. So basically, this is the Pick and Roll podcast. Basically, every week for the next 5 weeks, we're going to be breaking down high school players. And we're going to do tap, and the next week is going to be 11 through 20, and then the week after that's 21 through 30, and so on and so forth until we get through 60. And then we'll start scouting some college players after that. And then, you know, college basketball season will roll around. G League will start rolling around. We'll start watching full games, breaking down players with you, and start giving our big boards and doing those mock drafts. You guys are going to have a lot of fun listening. So, Chris, do you have anything you want to say before we kick it?
Nope.
Okay, sounds good. Well, I'm Jason Collins.
And I'm Chris Muhammad. And this is the Pick and Roll podcast. Peace.